Welcome to the June edition of What Would Dayna Do? We are here in beautiful sunny Colorado. We've got some golfers in the background having a great afternoon, so welcome. So our question today is from Lynn. Lynn works at a dental practice in Burien, Washington. Lynn is actually the spouse of the doctor, and Lynn does all of the payroll for the office. And her question was, our team is interested in implementing a time clock, and so where they would check in and check out for their hours. However, I'm very skeptical about doing that because we have many dental team members that stay late after hours for an hour, hour and a half, working on their charts, preparing for their next day, and our entire team is on salary, and so I don't know what the implications are for overtime. And so since I'm not an HR specialist, I reached out to my good friend and colleague, Ginny Haggerty. Ginny is with Dental Practice Development, and Ginny is an HR specialist. So I sent her this question, and Ginny sent us some very, very good information. And since this is coming from Ginny, I'm going to read it pretty much word for word because these are her words. And I'll have Ginny's contact info at the end of this video today. But what Ginny explains, she gives us some bullet points here to remember. That employers of the dental practice, employers are required to meet both federal and state guidelines regarding overtime provisions. If they differ, you must follow the most stringent. So make sure you know what the federal and your state guidelines are. The Fair Labor Standards Act clarifies employees in two types to determine overtime requirements. Those requirements are exempt and non-exempt. Exempt employees are typically executive, administrative, and managerial employees in professional positions that require special licensure. Most people are familiar with a CPA who may work 30 hours a week in the summer and 80 hours a week in the busy season, but their salary remains the same. Most dental administrative or managerial positions do not meet the very extensive and strict requirements for exempt status, and neither do most clinical positions. It's estimated that 90% of dental employees are non-exempt and therefore eligible for overtime pay, so that's really important. Her last point is non-exempt employees, regardless of whether they are paid a salary or an hourly wage, must be paid overtime for all hours over their daily or weekly maximum, as set by the state or federal guidelines. So it's important to know what your state guidelines are. An employee cannot opt out of this pay, so that's important. An employer can set a policy requiring that overtime be pre-authorized. So what this means to employers, what Ginny says, what this means is that you must know whether your employee is an exempt or a non-exempt employee when determining overtime obligations. Don't make the mistake of thinking that just because somebody is on salary that you don't require to pay them overtime. So it's important that you know what your laws are. So you can contact Ginny. Ginny's email address, and we're going to put it up on the bar at the bottom here. You can get a hold of Ginny. Also, Ginny has wrote a chapter in a book. The book is called Powerful Practice, and her chapter, Stop Kissing Frogs, How to Find and Manage and Keep the Best People, is a really good place where you can get some more information about HR questions. So I hope that helps. And Lynn, I hope that answers your question. The most important thing is know what the state laws are in your state and also know what the federal laws are. So I hope that helps.